Hey, everybody, and welcome back. This is the ECS Magazine Hangout live stream that we do every Saturday, 8 p.m. We're already starting out today with a full house of 6 people here. So I wanted to start it off with the big introductions here tonight. We're going to have a kind of simple kind of topic that I wanted to go over to, but I definitely wanted to be able to have everybody do their introductions because everybody's going to have something they're going to kind of bring to the table. And that's the beauty of this. It's sponsored by Control Freak. Remember Control Freak? Company.cast. Reggie is just throwing me off over there. Welcome back to Reggie. So, but again, let's start introducing everybody. I'm going to start to my, I don't know if it's on my screen. I think it's to my right, but it's actually to my left on the thing here. Let's start with you, Rich. Can you introduce yourself and let everybody know what you're about?
Hey, guys, I'm Rich from Eaton Motorsports. We're a high performance company. We offer parts and trackside support up and down the East Coast. We specialize in providing you with some of our advice to get you through and get you out on the track for the first time, and we help the experienced guys as well. So we're always looking forward to that.
Awesome. All right. So, and next up we got Mark. Mark, it's all you, man. Tell them about yourself, buddy.
Hey, I'm Mark, Dr. Mark from US 1061, which is a radio station here in Virginia Beach. I also run 757 auto events, smaller parking lot shows, charity events, and then also I'm a promoter for the Coastal Virginia Auto Show, which is a big 3-day indoor event at a convention center out here. We also have a 1-day outdoor event, and we've been advertising with East Coast Styles for a while now. It works out really well. It's a good way to get out there and let people know what you're doing, and it's a flyer, but it's in a magazine, so it's pretty cool.
Nice. Okay, and next up we got David, who is coming back for, is this your second or third show?
3. This is a 3-peat here. Yeah, 3-peat.
3, man. All right, so tell everybody about yourself.
So thank you for having me back, guys. Yes, Dave with Nexus New England. We've been covering the local car show and automotive scene for over 10 years now. Just having a great time showing the rest of the world what New England has to offer as far as everything from Model A's all the way up to hypercars. So again, thanks for having me back, guys, and I enjoy this discussion. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. And last but not least is Mark, and this is where I confused last time because I get David is next gen and then Mark is next gen, so I got confused with the Nexus thing. But Mark, can you tell them about yourself and where you're from, buddy?
How you doing, everybody? Good evening. I'm Mark, president of Next Gen Car Club, and we are a car club brand, and we do car shows and events all in the tri-state area and New England area.
Now, does anybody of all these guys here, who has something coming up for before we get into the main topic here? Who has some events and some things that are coming up right now? And if we want to go around the table here, we can start with you, Rich. If you have an event that you want to advertise or tell somebody about, or something that you're involved in that you just want to let people out there know about, I want to give you guys an opportunity to do that right now. So, Rich, you can start, and then we'll go to Mark.
Yeah, so we're actually we're pushing pretty heavy right now on the Garmin catalysts. They're an awesome piece of equipment that we use. Mm-hmm. It's basically like a driving coach in a box. If you think about like an old school GPS that kind of sits on your dash, think about that. But it's basically a driving coach that sits there. It gives you all the analytics and all the feedback you would get from a right seat coach, but in one convenient package, as well as recording your videos, and it can do all the overlays right with it.
So that's actually a video thing. It's good for pretty much anything, not just the track. Like if you have something that you're drag racing or anything, it works in anything and records your, how you're racing and doing what you're doing. Is that how it works? Or
it's mainly for road course stuff. Okay. It'd kind of be overkill for what you're looking for. You get a draggy or something like that, which we also offer, those sorts of things. But for any sort of data collection, we can certainly help out with that sort of stuff too, as well, for anything. So
now, of your team on Eaton, how many of you guys actually use it right now? The whole team?
We have 3 of them, 4 of them between our team. 3 of them are actually down in New Jersey right now. One of them is here with me. Nice. But we tend to bring them. We love them. We think they've been great for all of us. Really a cool little package, and they're awesome. So if you're looking for something like that, we can definitely help you get into one.
And where would they go to find this? It's Eaton Motorsports.
Right at EatonMotorsports.com, or you can send a message to @TheRealEaton Motorsports on Facebook, and that'll get to one of us directly, and we'll get you set up right then and there.
That's awesome. The thing is that unfortunately with some of the stuff we're doing here, I want to be able to show off some of the cool things that we have out there. I kind of know what you're dealing with that, and it's how cool the product is. So it's like something I want people to see, but I'm hoping that they can go over and actually take a look at it and see, the cool effects. So guys, put up a video at some point and so we can check it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll actually be at Palmer with Mass Tuning, which I believe is April 2nd and 3rd. We're going to be there both days. So if you want to see one, in action, come out, check them out. We'll have one. I'll have one there you can kind of handle, play with, and we should have some of the videos from some of our cars to take a look at.
And Palmer Motorsports is kind of like middle Massachusetts. So for those that don't know.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild track carved right into the side of a mountain. Really, really cool.
Yeah, it is weird for elevation. Like I thought Club was weird for elevation, but that Palmer is like one of those things that's like if you're not ready for it, it's just going to punch you in the face.
Palmer's like I always think of it as like 7/10 scale Club Motorsports. It's just like they took Club Motorsports and made it smaller and tighter and faster, and it's like oh god.
Exactly. All right, Mark, you're up. Do you have any kind of events or anything? I know you say in the Coastal Virginia show. Is there anything else you wanted to promote, or just that one?
Yeah, I mean, under 757 auto events, I mean, we wind up in the past, we've done, events almost every week in actual car shows, organized car shows, because we do a lot of charity things. So we just finished one today. We called it Winterfest. Got postponed a couple weeks, but, still a good outturn. Had a base-off going on, had a car show, had a pinup contest at the same time. This was all held at a remote control car indoor track, so nice. RC cars on the inside, cars on the outside. So good time with that. And then, cool. Next week we're back Lansdowne Commons, which is our cruising place. They're the shopping center that we work with. But anyways, it's a kickoff season. It starts on Saturday. So we got a car show to start things off. It's a memorial show for one of the guys who was big in the car scene out here. And then that rolls right into the cruise-in season. And then they run cruise-ins like every Saturday. And, 757 Auto Events is your best bet. You got to go to that tab because we really have so much going on. I host quite a few shows, and then also I come on board and I help out on the mic with different shows, because everybody, I say I run the shows, but I have a lot of helpers that come out. I burned out a lot of people for, show after show after show. But, I tell people that the guys come out to our shows because it's like their church, so they come out, they hang out with their friends, they'll help out with this, that, and the other. And, it's a mutual respect to try to keep these events going because, again, Virginia Beach, Hampton Roads, this area, we have a lot of car enthusiasts and we have a lot of car shows. And, right now we're feeling the burn because everybody is doing these cars and coffees and cruising. So it makes things a little bit tougher for our organized car shows where we're trying to do fundraisers and stuff like that because you're hitting cars and coffee, and it's 2 or 3 hours, but, you're hanging out, you're doing almost the same thing. But, it doesn't cost anything. And that's one thing to just draw people into businesses and all that. So we understand that. So we're trying to work within those lines as well. So I try to help out many people as I can. And then, they help us out too.
What month do you guys usually start hitting the shows up? It's fairly early, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Today was, we call it Winterfest. It's ultimately knocking the cold off. So we had some wind out there today, but I was out there in short sleeves today. So it wasn't that big a deal. People come out, they clean stuff up. We had pollen today, so we're there.
The pollinating has begun. Yeah,
that's right.
No, we probably will take another month before we get. At the end of the month we'll probably start our stuff, but it really is another month before people really start moving up here.
Yeah.
The colder you are, the slower you are.
That's
so
right.
if they want to go to 757 Auto Events, is there a website or is it just Facebook or how do they
Facebook
do that?
is you can go to the website, but my website just takes you right back to Facebook because I don't have the savvy for websites and all that. And then Facebook is really where I'm doing all of my events. I know you guys were talking about that last week as to, how are you getting the word out about your shows and all. Okay. We have blogs out here. So there's actually one guy called Car Crazy and Tidewater. And this guy just goes through and combs through people's stuff, and then he just lists it, and that's on the website, so that's a cool thing because, I'll put an event on Facebook and then all of a sudden it'll be on Car Crazy and Tidewater because he's trying to do that. That's one of the things that we always wanted to, man, I wish I could just do this. Well, this guy's already done it, so it works out really well for this area.
Right. Yeah. We got a comment there from Web NEAS. Maple pollen is out in New England. I'm any pollen for me is not good, and I'm not even allergic to it. So next up, David, you are picking up a schedule this year, I'm betting, and getting really, really busy. What's going to be your next big thing? What are you filming? What are you going to be involved in? What's going to be going on?
we've got a lot going on. Like I said, we don't put on any events, but we do cover a lot of events in New England. A lot of them, like one of the great ones that I've been jonesing to get to because it was canceled because of what happened the last couple of years is we had one of the gentlemen on from last week from the Creeps, Viva East. I've been dying to go see that for the longest time. I mean, so just him being on there and then just talking to everybody about that. That's coming up pretty much 4th of July weekend or something like July 7th, I think. That's one of the shows we definitely want to go to. It's all rockabilly type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to go out and experience that type. It's a lifestyle. It's not just, these people get dressed up and go there. This is how they live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I'm just like, I'm just going to immerse myself into that lifestyle for the weekend and rip it up and have a great time. But yeah, other than that, you got Meet New England up in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is always a great, if you don't have a car show going on, which it's impossible not to find a car show anywhere, you can go up there and hang out, and it's an all-inclusive type of show. A lot of fun to go up there. Cruise nights. I know one of the cruise nights that I love going to is up at Fuddruckers in Saugus, on Route 1. They have a great one, family friendly, the whole 9 yards. Great group of guys, and they've really transformed what was a show that was kind of getting run down, and kind of the club was kind of getting smaller and smaller, and nobody was showing up. They exploded that cruise night again, so it's really cool to go up there. There's a bunch of different dates they got up for there, and then the last one is I'm doing with, I have the Gotham City Police car from Batman, so they invited me up to the Cars and Cops car show in Saugus, Massachusetts, for their show up there, which I can't remember what the heck it is. It's June 25th. So we're going up there with a bunch of movie cars and all that stuff. Nice. So I love covering that, and we're doing that with Rhode Island Comic Con. So kind of a mix of everything, rock and roll, cars, hot rods, exotics,
and they can all see the coverage of this on your YouTube page, right?
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing a little bit more. Like I've been talking to you a lot, just bouncing ideas off of you and just kind of having a great time. Just about having more content, just showing it on YouTube now, because I think exploring that avenue it's a great idea to show the people that we do have a great car culture here, and we have some great people like yourself and the whole group.
It starts a little late once we get going.
yeah. But yeah, no, it's fun. Yeah, YouTube is great. So we're going to be putting a lot more content on our YouTube page. So find us up there on Nexus New England, Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. So nice. Yeah, I'll pass it off to the other guy right there with the similar sounding name, but we're totally different. But I do want to hit him up. I want to talk to these guys just so we can have that kind of like next gen Nexus New England type of thing. That would be really cool to do.
This is what we do. We make we make connections here to the community.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, you're up. What do you got for us today? I heard you got something special today, right?
Yeah. Well, first, I am gonna be giving away these 20 tickets to Cabin Fever. My man Don Claddy, his show is coming up April 2nd and 3rd. Nice. I have 20 tickets here. Wow. I'll just give them away to, I guess, I don't know, whoever wants them. Yeah.
Well, I think there must be a way for them to put, you can see the chat over here. So there might be a way to get over to the chat, or have somebody that's putting in and saying they're interested in going, if they want to put something in the chat, or, you know what I mean? I don't know if you want to request them, or if you want to select somebody from people who are watching today, that would be awesome too, especially if they're in the area.
I don't know how to do the chat thing. I don't see it. Shoot.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do then is we'll figure something out at some point to make sure that we can get those out to you. So you said he had 25 of them, right?
It's a book of 20 tickets.
Or 20, okay.
And they can come to the show and just go to will call and just say, hey, I won 20 tickets from Next Gen. Nice. And the tickets will be there for them.
Perfect. All right. So, well, Reggie, we're going to work on a way to kind of get something so that we can get somebody in the comments or something and get their contact info. And I don't know how we're going to get it to them, but we'll get something and put them together. It's going to be the first time we ever had a giveaway on the channel to do anything. So, but it's going to be fun to give it a shot. So thank you for doing that.
No problem. I mean, that's what it's all about. I feel like everybody should support everybody as long as it's not conflicting with your event. Yeah, I don't have a problem. I mean, our tri-state group will be at Elite Tuner tomorrow.
Nice.
We'll be at Quinnipiac University for their season opener. So that's just something that we like to do at Next Gen. We want to support anybody's event within the area that we can. If we can do it, we'll be there. We'll come out and support your event. Our season opener is April 9th here in Bristol. It's the car club battle, but all cars are welcome. Spectators are always free at all our events. This season, that's something that we implemented because gas prices and all that wild stuff, people don't really have the money to spend. And me being a car enthusiast, I know going to car shows, it can get pretty pricey. So free spectators for all our car shows. We start our season April 9th in Bristol. Then we'll be in Massachusetts May 7th. Then June 11th, we'll be in Jersey. And then July 23rd, we will be in PA. And back in Hartford, Connecticut in September. And we got a whole roster going all the way down to Vegas. So
you got a crazy year going on, don't you?
Yeah, our year is action packed, and like I said, along with all of our dates, we're still gonna go to everybody events within the area. We'll be at IFO, we'll be at the pull-up show in Mass, on and on and on. We support everybody. So
that's awesome.
So we're looking forward to the season. It starts tomorrow. We'll be in Quinnipiac, and then we'll have probably 10 cars at Quinnipiac and maybe 8 cars at LA Tuner that's pre-registered.
Nice.
My car isn't done, and a lot of our other cars aren't ready yet, but we'll get the season going eventually.
Nice. Good. All right. Well, what I want to do tonight is one of the big topics that this is the longest we've had, the most amount of introductions that we've had in the night, but we've had some good stuff going on here already. So that's great. Let's see. Rich, you had a comment over here. So it just says Rich. Yeah. Yeah, right. He's like, I know who that guy is. But yeah, I did want to go over the text of tonight would be, one thing that we see, and I've heard a lot being asked this week, is there's kind of this world of collector cars versus aftermarket cars, and how you go about when is the right time to start doing stuff. A lot of people would say, you buy a new car and then you wait for your warranty to run out, and then you start doing the work to it and then start upgrading it and trying to think about track stuff and all this other stuff. A lot of times I look at people and I say, hey, you know what? You get whatever car you're going to get and purchase it based on that idea of saying what you're going to use it for. Is it going to be a show car? Is it going to be a low rider, or is it going to be a track car? Is it going to be a drag car? You kind of think of those things. So what I wanted to do is get some input from you guys and say, what do you think the best route is for a person that is coming out and they're going to buy their first car? Should they buy something, drive it? Should they get something new, wait for some time, and then say, I'm going to do some aftermarket work to it? Or should they just come out of the gate and just start throwing wrenches at it and send warranty to the wind? What do you guys think? Anybody? Rich, you can go.
Yeah, I think, from our perspective, we're focused mostly on the track. We're firm believers you can track anything. In our camp, we have quite a wide range of vehicles. We've got some Mini Coopers. We've got a couple of Cobalt SSs. We've got a Corvette. There's some Volkswagens in the fleet. Various Subarus. Subaru is kind of our bread and butter. Subaru and BMW. We're actually, we support a race car Subaru. So from our world, I believe that anybody can get anything on track. The first thing you should do if you want to get on track is flush your brake fluid, put fresh pads on, make sure your tires are good, and come to the track and just drive the car. Once you've had some time and you think you're going to enjoy it, we definitely recommend you do tires and you do, an upgraded brake system. Not an upgraded brake system, but do upgraded pads, rotors, and fluid, and make sure that all that stuff is fresh and good to go. And start there. And it's best to not really throw a bunch of parts at your car to start, because you don't know what you don't know. You're going to start modifying things you don't really understand and how they impact the car. a lot of people will say to me, you drive a Volkswagen, you put a rear sway bar on it.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily true. Yes, a rear sway bar can be helpful, but a rear sway bar to begin with would have helped me develop bad habits instead of developing the proper habits. So.
Right. Do you have a lot of guys that race on the track that have pretty much new cars that are in warranty, or is it usually cars that have some age, like 50, 60,000 miles?
There's a good mix. I mean, our particular fleet, we have a pretty good mix. We have of the Corvette and the M2 comp is new. Those are fairly low mileage. The E92 is pretty low mileage. Eva's obviously which is our blue WRX that you see in all of our advertising. Eva's a dedicated race car, so mileage was never really a consideration on that. That's got a custom IAG block and a bunch of really trick work on it. It's a really cool car. So yeah, I mean, there's a mix. You see some guys that show up. I mean, I've seen guys that are 86 years old that show up in a brand new M8 Grand Coupe, and he'll take it out on the track. I've seen guys go out on track in Rolls-Royce Wraiths. And
wow.
I see guys show up in a 1983, GTI and just spank everybody out there. They're blowing by McLarens through the corners because they've just been doing this for so long. And
I just want to see a Rolls-Royce Wraith out on a track someplace with all that weight getting shifted around, just like three-legging it. You know what I mean?
It was New York Safety Track. I was up there with Track Experience, and that's it's a great organization that we ran with a couple of times, and we love them. They run New York Safety Track a lot. Nice. And the kid pulled up to with the Wraith to the track, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. He brought a Wraith to the track. I figured, he's just sort of, it's a nice car to bring out on track. Yeah, like what's he gonna bring on track if this kid pulls up in a Wraith?
Right.
And then I see them stickering up the side of the car, and I was like, oh no, this is not gonna be good.
Exactly. No, the best part would have been if that race came out there and all of a sudden it started beating everybody. Like McLarens and Lambos are in the back. And like, I can't keep up with this guy. What's going on?
No, it was like driving a living room around the racetrack. It was brilliant. I loved every minute of it. I mean, I have some pictures of it somewhere. It was hysterical.
We had one a while back with a guy with a Bentley that was driving his around, and his brakes were just smoking. It was hilarious. I was like, they do have the right, because he had carbons and stuff on it, so it was really cool. But I was like, that's a lot of weight to be pushing around. Mark, you focus more on kind of the car show theme and that kind of thing. What would you tell somebody to say, hey, I want to be part of doing these car shows? What's kind of the first car I'm going to pick up, and what's it going to be like?
Yeah, I mean, everything revolves around your budget. So if you're buying a new car is just not going to fare well with scoring, because most of our stuff is modified. You can keep it clean, but if you park a brand new car that you're making payments on next to this Civic that's been done because he's saved money and he's been able to do some stuff, the scores don't really show up that way. So you definitely got to stay within your budget, and then with your mods and all that stuff, you still have to be able to keep a reliable vehicle. So what we see on the forums and what we see on Facebook and all that is always hey, where can I get my windows tinted? So that's always the first one. Doing some windows, doing some decals, doing some vinyl, and then it's on to wheels and tires and all that. So if you're car poor because you got a brand new ride that's really sweet, okay, so your Charger is your Charger, but that's also the other 32 Chargers that are paying $20 a piece to show as well. So it's really hard to make yourself stand out unless you do sometimes go back a little bit, unless your pockets are deep. Like, what is this over here on the side? You got to have money.
Dina just said, hi, guys. Hey, how's it going? How do you, David, there's a good question. How do you stand out in the crowd?
Yeah, it's definitely. You tell me that.
Yeah, great.
How do you stand out in the crowd? Well, I got
film guy. So that's the thing is us film guys, we have an eye for what is the best car out there. And that's the thing is I would like to answer it, but I like to give it to you guys to hit this up. So
I'd love to hear your, it's one of those things where it has to be eye catching. It can be something that's almost stock, but if you're rolling but that would have to be something older. But if you're coming in with something new,
right.
It's one of those old adages. If you're saying modding it, and whether it's engine or exterior or whatever, don't do anything that you can't afford to break. So you can't have a car that you're paying money on and you're throwing money at, and then all of a sudden you throw a rod or something. That's not smart. Like the other guy said earlier, be within your budget, make sure your stuff is done that you can fix if something does go wrong with it. But as far as how do you stand out, I think it's one of those things where you look down the row of cars and it's eye candy basically. You just point it out and you say, all right, that's cool. Whether it's even you go to a Subaru's, what catches my eye is something retro or vintage, like the Subaru rally cars. If they do a modern take on the original ones, they have the new WRXs, with all done up with the original rally like scheme and everything from the old school. That caught my eye at one of the car shows. I'm like going, that's cool. Or you're doing something that's, you have a whole row of, like I said, Dodge Chargers,
right,
or Challengers or whatever. If you do something a little different, tastefully modded, hood scoops, that stuff like that, just to catch somebody's eye, or you just do a totally different paint scheme, something that's not, there was this beautiful candy apple red Challenger that I saw, and it was that old school 50s candy apple red that you saw, it was on a Challenger, and I'm like going, that looks nice, it was lowered wheels, I'm like going, that was beautiful. So again, it depends on how much budget you have. You can roll into a car show now, like you were saying, points values and everything, but a lot of car shows, there's a lot of people that are coming in with brand new cars,
right,
which I love too. Some of them, brand new cars that I've seen at first at car shows, like Z06s and C8s and all this other stuff, I'm like, holy crap, nice to see them. But then, it's also, it's cool to see something that they've modified just enough to catch your eye. So if it has a new body kit on it, or wing, or something on the back, exhaust always catches you, it catches your ear. You're like, what the hell's that coming in? Okay, that sounds cool. So
my thing is, and this is something, it's very, very easy for the track. If somebody asks me what is going to be the car that stands out and does its stuff, a lot of times it really is, and Rich can vouch for this, it's the guy that has all his stuff together. It's the guy that's running first place in class. It's the guy, he could have a Miata. Like we always go to these autocross shows, and you see this one guy in the Miata, and what does everybody do? They go to that one guy that's winning all day and go, like, what's the secret? And that's really the thing. I remember we had this race, and it was BMW Z4 or whatever was the new car, and there was a bunch of there was one guy with an Integra and all these other guys with Miatas, and the Integra is just stomping the crowd. And what did everybody want to do? They go over to the Integra guy, and they're like, what are you doing? You're breaking this nice car out. I mean, and you're decimating the track here. What is going on? What is making you better than everybody else? And a lot of times it's that stylized thinking, or that rhythm that they have, that is so important to not just bring in the car, but there's a form and a function side of it when it comes to actually getting in the track, knowing your stuff, and not just, like Rich was saying, don't just throw money at stuff. You're going to change things 17,000 times. So day one, go to the track, leave your mind open, let people, and everybody there is going to be friendly. They're going to give you advice. They're going to say, this is what works and this is what doesn't. But that's the thing is go to that track the first day. Bet you money the guy that's winning today is the guy, when he came in the first day, had his ears open to everything that was going on and was really listening to the input from all the guys that have done it over and over again. For a car show, it really is very tricky to kind of put it as form versus function. And what I always say for it is presentation is king. You really have to make a car that presents well. It could be the most unique car in the world, but if it's a Yugo, nobody's going to care. But if it's an Alfa Romeo that nobody's seen before, everything is perfectly clean. The car has a display in front of it. It has the display plaque. Remember lowrider shows. I always say go to these lowrider shows and look at what these guys do to make their vehicles stand out. Their vehicles stand out a lot of times just in general, but then they'll put stuff like smoke around the wheels. They'll have a lug holder so they can pull a wheel off. You can actually see the shiny, caliper and the shiny rotor. And that car you can't not look at it. And a car like that rolls up, and the Lamborghini doesn't exist anymore. Nobody's running over to see that one-off car or whatever thing. And that's really I think one of the things is the secret to this is, winning is being able to say, bring your best, but you don't have to really bring your best. You just have to bring your A game. Do you know what I'm saying? I actually almost won a car show one time with a stock Hyundai Tiburon. because I made sure that the vehicle was cleaned. It had the most options available for the car. It was the top end model, and some of the things that people hadn't thought of really, you know what I mean, made it so much better. And that's because I'd done it for so long. So, oh, hey, wait a minute. We have somebody else in the chat. So who is this?
ECS Dana.
ECS Dana. How's it going today, ECS Dana?
Going. How's everything going?
Going good with us. Have you been listening to the chat so far?
No.
Okay. It's like brand new. How's it going? So I just want to remind everybody, this is the ECS Hangout. We do this every Saturday at 8 p.m. It's sponsored by Control Freak. So controlfreakcompany.com if you want to go check that out. It is an open area that people can just jump in, and we're going to talk about cars, and we're going to talk about other things. This is a very big changing environment that we have right now. For you guys out there, basically getting it. So I'm going to get into racing. I'm going to get into car shows. I'm going to get into whatever. What is a vehicle that you would say right now that you would say, you know, buy this right now and it's probably going to get you ahead of the pack? What would you guys recommend? Anybody can start with that, or if not, Rich, if you want to go first.
That's a tough one. You know, a lot of what we do right now is HPDE. You know, that's kind of our main focus and supporting drivers that like to do that.
Yeah.
For that, you know, we honestly believe you can drive anything. I think, you know, buying something you're comfortable with, and, you know, I tracked a brand new Volkswagen GLI for 2 years. You know, it puts a beating on the car. I'm not going to lie. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do to a car. So, you know, I recommend, you know, starting off with what you've got, and then, you know, moving into something that you kind of like. You know, some guys really like front wheel drive. I'm a big front wheel drive guy for the track. You know, some people really like all wheel or rear wheel drive, and just sticking within your platform. You know, like a C5, C6 Corvette is probably, you know, some of the best bang for your buck as a track car. The C6Z would be an excellent car, or C7 Grand Sport. You know, great place to start if you've got the money for something like that. You know, you could start lower. You could start with a Miata or even an FRS. Pick up an FRS for, you know, under 10 grand, and that'd be a perfect car to start and learn on. So.
Right. Sorry, just getting caught up here with some other stuff. Yeah. If anyone wants to come in, let's see if we got room for him. Now let's see. Mark, do you have the car show guy? He's coming in. It's his first day. There's a new world out there. He's going to go out and buy a car. What do you think is going to be the car that's going to make him win?
All right, so I'm a freshman in college, and you want to ask me what my major is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So the whole thing I tell people is that you got to, you know, work on what you got. You know, you can, because whatever you do, you're going to mess it up. You're going to do some goofy stuff. You're going to select red accents right off the top, you know. And the thing is that's going to make me stand out. Yeah, it does make you stand out, but that's where we all started somewhere. So the best thing for you to do is just, you know, what are you driving now? Okay, well, let's see what's out there. And not every car has aftermarket parts, you know, so that's the whole thing. If you can do bolt-ons, you can do those in your driveway. If you don't have bolt-ons for your car, I mean, then you're back to the shops and you're dumping money. So, you know, we start slow. And again, it's the simple stuff. If it's car shows, you clean it. You get it clean from one end to the other. You do that paint correction. You know, if you can't do it yourself, you send it out for somebody else to do it. Of course, the window tints, you can do different vinyls for, you know, a little bit of pop, a little bit of flare. Getting into, okay, now I'm going to paint my calipers. I'm going to paint them red, of course. But anyways, so we'll change things up a little bit. But again, you paint them red, then you paint them silver, then you paint them black. Put on some different wheels and all that. But try to, because you're still on, you know, the marketplaces and all that. So let me change out these stock wheels from, you know, my 87 version. Oh, there's a 93 version that's going to look better on my car. So, you know, you're spending a little bit of money, but really you're saving in the long run before you go after your 3-piece wheels. You know, so stock wheels from, you know, my 87 version. Oh, there's a 93 version that's going to look better on my car. So, so I'm getting some feedback. But anyways, I mean, that's what I tell people is that if you're planning on going out to, you know, buy something new, you got to see what you can afford.
Yeah. We got somebody that's got some feedback over there. Maybe it's Joel. Do you have some echo going on? I think maybe. He's like, I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it better.
You still got it?
I just muted.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, here's a good example. So I just bought, for a long time, my dad had a car and he wanted to, oh, where'd you go? Now it's just Reggie. There you go. So my dad bought me this great car. He wants me to go to the first car show with it, and it's a Hyundai Accent. What should I do with that? Is that a good car, or should I stick with that, or should I go with something different?
Are you asking me?
I'll ask anybody.
Well, let me answer it real quick. If that's what Dad gave you, then right now you have no money invested in this thing. So if that's what you have going on, you're going to go back after the detailing. You're going to pull the wheels off. You're going to be, spraying the fender wells and trying to clean everything up and get it all jazzed out. And again, you're going window tint. You're looking at some of the audio. You're looking at some of the things that you can dress up. And it is some stuff. Don't go crazy at AutoZone, but AutoZone is a great place to start. Because again, this car is going to need some. Whether it's floor mats or, some things that you can put on that, tame down the tacky, but still you're looking at what's going to make you stand out. So again, if you're 16, 17, 20-year-old kid, you got to start somewhere. And then once you start going to the car shows, you're going to see what's out there. And then if you talk to people, they're going to let you know, they're going to guide you. That's one thing that the older guys that like to do car shows, they don't mind telling you about their car. And sometimes they'll help out and tell you about your car too. And they're going to give you some of that advice and guidance. And you might be in that Hyundai for, a year or 2 years, but then you're already thinking about what your next car is. So I can't tell you what car to get.
That's the thing is it's very difficult for me because when somebody says, hey, I came up and, really everybody's going to tell you that thing of, every car is acceptable at the car show. And the truth is that no, not every, I'd love everybody to think like me and say every car that comes in, but when you bring the Yugo in and the exhaust is falling off, it's doing all that stuff. It's very difficult to get acceptance and come into that first world and have the doors just fly open and everybody's going to come up to you. And there's going to be some stuff. So I think in some respects, you kind of have to go to that show first and then kind of say, okay, maybe there is a time when investment is the way to go. Maybe I don't want to spend any money on a car. I want to go there and take some time to build up some money somewhere and do the car like you were saying that I love and I want to do and be the best I can possibly be. And the truth is no matter how you think about it, either whether you take my advice or you take the guy over in the other car show that says, no, anything will do. It really is. It's up to you. It's your ultimate decision about how you're going to move forward because it's going to represent you going forward. And I want to make sure that everybody make sure that they have the best foot forward. Do you know what I mean? But that's not always an easy answer. You really have to find your niche. If you're the guy that for instance, when we did the Hyundai Genesis, they weren't always acceptable vehicles. So you had to build up some time and make cars that people liked. So, hey, bring out that Hyundai and make something great of it. And it has 600 horsepower to it. Trust me, somebody's going to pay attention. So let's get these two other people that just joined in here that have been here before. So we'll start off with you, Vinny. Introduce yourself and tell everybody about what you're up to. Oh, Vinny's muted. Uh-oh.
Oh, stupid thing.
There we go. That's probably
There we
not
go.
too bad of a thing for me to be muted, to be honest with you.
There you
I'm
go.
trying something new. I got it streaming on my computer too and using my phone as a camera, and it seems like it's lagging pretty bad. So I don't know how long I'll be able to put up with this.
Yeah, it looks okay.
But,
yeah.
well, no, if I look at my phone, I'm okay. But if I look at the computer screen bigger, it's like 30 seconds off. But yeah, so Vinny from Creeps Car Club. I usually on these things don't like to say it, but I usually represent the older crew. The old classics, hot rods, rat rods, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, so I'm just I missed the first part. I was putting kids to bed and stuff, so I kind of jumped in listening about Hyundai accents and stuff like that. So I don't know. Let's see where the night goes, I guess, right?
Right, exactly. All right, well, I'll sling it over to Joel then and let Joel introduce himself and tell everybody what he's about.
Hey, I'm Joel Chappell, and I'm from NewEnglandAutoshows.com. It's a website dedicated to spreading the word about car shows.
Yeah.
And I go to and cover them, take pictures at some of them as well. and write about them on the blog that's actually on the website as well.
Perfect. All right. So now next question, and I'm going to start with Dina because she hasn't gotten anything yet, and she's been in here and going like, "You going to ask me a question or what?" No, but Dina, okay. So the next thing that I want to start off with is, so if somebody's starting their car show thing, or they're starting their race series, or they're buying their first car, what are some things that they shouldn't do?
I would probably say they shouldn't expect to get accepted by everybody, because not everybody's going to accept what you have. Thing is you bought it for yourself. You bought it for your pleasure, your hobby, and your escape from your everyday life.
Isn't that it? That's all, right?
That's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. Got it. All right, Joel, do you have any input on that, or Vinny?
I'll let Vinny go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody says, build what you want. So, back to if your dad gives you his Hyundai accent, sell it and buy something cooler, I guess. But
It's at an all-time high.
yeah. Hey, a buddy, a very good friend of mine. He's been to a lot of the hot rod shows and stuff. Photographer, my buddy Josh. His first car was a Hyundai Accent, so it's just funny that we're kind of harping on those tonight.
Yeah.
But
I'm still driving one, so.
Yeah, I've got a PT Cruiser. Everybody picks on me.
Hey, PT Cruisers had that turbo engine, some of them though. So
yeah.
Yep.
Charger option
yeah,
too. So.
So yeah, no, I mean, I guess just build what you want, build what you like. If it's your first, what was it? First time putting on a car show? Is that what you were saying, Alan?
So I'm picking up a car. You like, I'm getting ready to go to this car scene thing, and we got Rich in here, so I want to include the racing in it too. So he's gonna do his first thing, come out to this first whatever. Like he's the new vision of his car world, and he's like, I think Mark even said it. He was like, just graduated from high school or college, and he's got his car, and he wants to, his first day out, he wants to fit in. There's some things that he shouldn't do, and what do you think some of those things would be?
I mean, don't. I mean, definitely respect the show, respect the property, respect the hosts. But that would be the first thing I would say is to not do is not act like an asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's go to shows, go to get an idea, like get your build list together, get some ideas from other people. Somebody had mentioned that people like talking about their cars. Go up to people and say, hey, I like what you did here. How'd you do it? Right. If it's somebody who pays to have stuff done, I mean, that's okay too. You say, who did it? Who did the work? Right. There's a lot of things that you a lot of things out there. I mean, what is the auto industry is the number one industry in the world. I mean, there's thousands and millions and thousands of things you can do to a car.
Right.
So just if you like somebody's ideas, don't be afraid to ask them about it. Don't be afraid to copy them. I mean, some people might get mad at you, but hey, what the hell? This is America. We do what we want.
Right. All right, Joel, what do you got for me, buddy?
Don't go to if you're going to get a car, whatever car that you're going to get, to do, have a story about it. Don't go to a place and own it. You have to own whatever you're getting, I've always said that every car at a car show and everybody who brings a car to a car show, they have a story about that car. It's personal to them. Have that personal story at the ready, and at the same token, be willing to use your ears to listen to those other stories. I think that's very important because, everybody has a story about that car, you know, that has meaning to them if they're bringing it to a car show. I don't really think people just get a car and just bring it to a car show. I mean, it could be some, like, you know, collectors who have a bunch of different cars, and maybe they might have something like that. But I think it's important to, like, to share with the community of why you love that car, why it spoke to you when you got it. And if the car doesn't speak to you, then you got the wrong car.
All right, David, you've been sitting over there just patiently waiting, and I appreciate it so much. What do you've heard a lot of stuff here so far. What do you think is the best input you can give right now?
How can I top everybody's pretty much hit every talking point. So everybody's giving great advice. How can I add to it? Ouch. If somebody's buying a Hyundai Accent, like they was mentioning, your dad gives you a Hyundai Accent. Okay, well, you have money to make it a little different. Obviously, you go on social media, you find out what's trendy, whatever. Find out what's going on, maybe in over in Korea. What's trendy for what they're doing over there. Bring it over here. Find something different about it, so that it's something that's new to the scene, maybe. Maybe something not, wrap the car, tint the car, wrap the car, wheels, the whole 9 yards. And like he was saying, keep it clean, keep it easy, where it's not something that's going to break the budget. And you can, if you need to, and you are going to sell it, you can put it all back to stock, and you can go up to something that you might have been looking for, saying, hey, I'm going from the Hyundai to that Genesis or something, because you want to keep in the family brand now. So you're going from that to, going up. So yeah, just the simple mods, just tastefully done. And I know everybody says tastefully done is just, it can mean a lot of different things, but there's some cars out there, not you don't pick on it, but you look at it and go, that's just a little bit too going hard on certain aspects of it that are just not right. But yeah, I've seen some really good stuff done to some basic car, what you'd call basic transportation cars. They roll into a car show, and it's like, thank you. You have an artistic eye. You have an ability to make a car that is just rudimentary into something that's appealing and car show worthy. So, yeah, Hyundai Accent would be a tough one to do, but props to anybody that actually can do it. That's a lot of fun.
And I think if somebody did it too, you would have a lot of respect for that person that could do. Remember, and the reason my wife messaged me and says, why are we talking about this car? And I said, one of the reasons is that there was a lot of Hyundais out there that used to have the old Eclipse engines in them. So they're 2-liter turbos. They come out to car shows and you'd be like, what is this thing? It's a 400 horsepower car, like 4-door, that nobody had respect for these cars. And it was because the guy knew what he was picking. He'd done for a while. He wanted to find something that nobody else had, brought this thing out. It looked good. It had power. And I don't think it won the car show, but I don't think he went out to compete that day. But he definitely got some appreciation for what he had brought to him. So here's the last question for tonight that I think is probably one of the biggest things. We live in an age that I think that even though cars are always going to be big and people are more and more getting into and we do want to make sure that this next generation and even our current generation people, I think it was 18% of people today know how to drive a stick shift. I think it was. And I went to my shop the other day and I was putting sway bars in my car. And he was like, I had these people that were coming in learning to drift. And he goes, they don't know how to drive stick shift. So they had to teach them how to drive stick shift before they could even learn how to drift. Like, it was the craziest thing. And in some respects, there are cars that, they don't need that. Sometimes you don't need to learn to do stick. You can just do automatic. You can do whatever. But the thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to present it in a way of saying, how do we get new people involved in this car world? How do we get those opportunities that we have that is easy for us to figure out, but they're not finding it? How do we get that information out there and get more people involved and more people vested in the car community? And I'll, Rich, if you want to take that first, because each person has their own space here. So I want you to each have their own input.
Our crew at Eaton Motorsports, we take our roles as ambassadors of the sport extremely seriously. We're always at the track to help, and that's why we go. Dave and Noah and Rachel are coming back from New Jersey Motor Speedway today, where they went down to instruct for an event. It's not a timed event. The weather wasn't great. It's still really early in the season, but we're schlepping our cars all the way down there just so that we can go down and help develop the sport and instruct and pass on our knowledge. One of the kind of things that when you come into high performance driving, one of the last sort of the steps that you take is to become an instructor. And when we do that, that's your kind of chance for you to give back. Every new person that comes to track days, for the most part, will get an instructor in the car with them for the entire day. So during your entire 20-minute session, you'll be with your instructor, and they'll help you to learn. And we teach you, and we teach you the right way to do things. And that's kind of, like I said, we take that role of ambassador to the sport and caretaker of the sport very seriously.
Nice. Awesome. Well, Mark, you're up next. What do you got for me?
All right. So again, just speaking about car shows and all that, is that to pass the torch is what you're looking for, is that we have to make this stuff interesting for the kids. So that's one thing that we always want to do, family fun, entertainment, and all that. We really don't do bounce houses anymore because it's a liability, but we do coloring contests. We do kind of show you how to work a remote control car. We try to incorporate events, if there's any kind of games or stuff like that. There's a cornhole set, and then, we do cornhole tournaments, but really those cornhole sets are there for the kids to stand on and throw corn bags at each other and all that other stuff, because we want to get them out there with their moms and dads, so that way, because eventually, if this car sticks around, it's going to be yours, and then we want them to want it, because there's a lot of kids that aren't interested in it. I mean, it's because the whole thing is that we've all been forced to do something as kids that we absolutely don't do now, but we got to try to make it fun, so being forced to do something versus, hey, are they having a coloring contest this time? And they say, I think they are, and then, we make 3 trophies for coloring contests, and then, come on up, color a picture, you get a chance at winning an award, so that's something that they're looking into, because we all have a competitive edge, so anything we can do to make it fun, and then also food, and then we bring an ice cream man out and all that other stuff to, hey, I want to go to that car show versus some of the other car shows where, you're just waiting for 5 hours for awards. Right. So it's our job to make things exciting and interesting for our participants, our spectators, and then also the kids that are coming through.
Perfect. All right, David, what do you got for me?
Personally, I think this is a tough one as far as the car community is itself now. You don't have any of the major brands, Toyota, Dodge, Chevy, Ford, whatever, you don't have any of those brands promoting performance anymore, really. It's all about EV and everything, and that's a whole different subject. But you don't have, except for Dodge. I shouldn't put Dodge. All their commercials about Vin Diesel and burnouts and everything else. But that's what grabs me as far as an enthusiast. I'm going, I like those commercials. But the rest of them are just, they're focused on fuel efficiency. I know the gas prices are kind of what's pushing all that. But as far as an enthusiast and drawing those people in, I think it is. The car culture itself has to reach out. You can't you can't have a car club that's just going to sit behind their cars and twiddle their thumbs. You get, like he was saying earlier, you really got to go out there, engage people, tell them about the car show, say, hey, this is what we got going on. It's family friendly. It's got these really cool cars in it. Sometimes, if you can get something that's kind of a draw, whether a movie car is like I got a movie tribute type of car, so I see a lot of people say, hey, there's a Batmobile going to be there. Oh, we're going to drag the kids there. And you see kids that, that might not care about cars, but all of a sudden, and I'm sure a lot of people that grew up my age and everything said, they saw cars on TV and go, I like that. That's not really on TV anymore. So when you see a kid dragged at a car show, you see their eyes light up because they see something like a funny car or a movie car or whatever. I think that's one of those things where it's our responsibility to kind of make it more interactive, more fun, and really engage the younger crowd, because cars nowadays are really, the performance is phenomenal for the ones that are out there, but just you see a lot of the demographic of the younger kids, they're kind of just getting disconnected with cars. But in the aspect, that's why I'm saying you want to get them into cool cars, whether it's the rat rods and hot rods or whatever, which I see a lot of the kids that were into the imports are kind of gravitating towards the muscle cars now, saying, wow, that's really cool, I want to get into something older. So that it's kind of building itself up. So how do we grab those other kids in? Give them something to look at, the eye candy, something, okay, a monster truck or whatever it is. So just going back, I think the car community is just going to embrace it, get out there and tell everybody, hey, this is what we're doing at our show, family friendly, big community event. Get as many businesses or whatever you can get to embrace it, and let them help you. Tell them, hey, we got a really cool car show. Come on down and check it out, and see if we can get involved. And car clubs really should start. I know a lot of the import car clubs. They actively want people to start joining their club, whether they have something stock or whether they have something that's modified. They just say, come on in. We'll, your family, come on in. We'll do that. That is one of the aspects that I love. So that's what I was saying. Car clubs really are the essence of what is going to keep this hobby going, and it's only going to grow bigger as long as we just say, hey, we're all in a big community. Come on out and have some fun, and we'll keep this thing growing.
All right, Dina, you're up. What do you got for me?
Well, one of the things, you want to keep it going. You want to keep the scene going. You're trying to get more kids involved because they are the next generation. Start adding more Power Wheels classes, building your own bikes like lowrider bikes and such. Give the kids a reason to want to be there and help participate, and they can win trophies too.
Mm-hmm. That's an awesome idea. I've never heard anybody say that before about, other than I know Vinny's going to say they have some of the stuff at their shows, they have stuff like that kind of competition for bikes and things like that. But the thing is, like, and I always want to say, like, almost like a Power Wheels, competition would be something where kids could come in and they have whatever their thing, and almost like a Pinewood Derby thing. That would be a great competitive thing to bring.
Custom painted Barbie vet.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Bring it to the table, Joel. So
Well, there's kids actually out there doing big things with Power Wheels. There's kids in the sound world that are hitting 150s, 160s with Power Wheels.
Wow.
That's and crazy. they are Mecca world champions.
Wow.
That would be, I would like to see those guys bring that stuff out to me. I want to see somebody saying, I've done 150. That's something that, and back to some of the stuff you were saying, Rich, too, was we were just hanging out with somebody the other day, and his son was, I think, 13 or 14, and they were doing some kind of smaller drag racing thing like that. And he was super competitive, and he was saying, I want to do the road course racing, but he goes, I can't do the road course racing yet because they won't let me on the road course. So it's one of those things of being able to have that, I guess maybe some of that both competitive.
Alan, definitely send him my way. I will help that kid. Exactly. As soon as he's 16, I think we can get him on track some places. So
nice. All right.
As long as he's got a license, I think we can get him on track some places, and he needs parental consent, but we should be able to.
His dad is huge on that. Yeah. So he's already in it. He's already got, I think, a 370Z or something he picked up. So, but that was where I'm looking at somebody and saying, this is the future of racing. And I want to go to the show and see more of these guys. Cause it used to be when I was younger, you go to a show and you'd see guys that were already like at 15 and 16, they already know what car they want, what they're going to do to it. But that brings us to Vinny. I think you have a lot of good input here too. So hit us up with that.
Yeah. Our show, yes, it's pre 1970, so no cars older than that are allowed at our show, but it is a very family friendly show. We have, we built a valve cover racing. So I think Alan said Pinewood Derby. Kind of the same idea, only you turn a valve cover into a car, throw some skateboard wheels on it, rollerblade wheels, whatever. It can't weigh more than, I forgot the official weight, but it can't weigh more than 10 pounds or something to keep it all level. But the kids can take the wheels off, change the wheels. So, they're there. They're able to win a first, second, third place trophy that we build. We build all our own trophies. And then, but yeah, some of the bouncy house thing, we don't do that, too much liability. So there's that. I think one year we had a face painter, or maybe we tried to get a face painter and nobody wanted to step up. But yeah, another good thing about our show is the location. We do ours at Diamond Hill Park, and it just so happens to be the same weekend usually that they're doing the soccer, Cumberland soccer pictures or games. So there's a lot of children, a lot of kids, a lot of families that walk around our show. And you always,
yours is family friendly too.
oh yeah, I mean, family friendly. Other than the time we had a punk band playing, but usually it's rockabilly. A lot of old people. We got a lot of slack for that one. A lot of the older people. It's tough to have a pre-1970s show and have a punk band playing. You know what I mean?
Next time you do that, though, please let me know. I want to come because that sounds like
right. I'm sorry, I missed that show now.
Yeah. Hey,
I got a stage dive onto some, like really old people. That'd be great.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know if I could say the name, but it was Neutral Nation, heavy hitters from Rhode Island. Nice. So, but yeah, I mean, so you see all the kids running around. I mean, my kids go. So you see all the kids running around wide-eyed, looking at all the cars. Yeah, they do tend to gravitate more towards the ones that are a little shinier than others. But there are some kids, like there was a kid that ran up to my truck, and he was like, "That's a Chevy. I know that's a Chevy," and he couldn't have been any more than 9 or 10. Yeah. And it was cool. My daughter, my oldest, loves my truck. She's got her own. She doesn't really fit in it now, but she's got her own pedal car that I had custom painted for her and everything. Nice. That she's pedaled around our show before. So yeah, I mean, it's when you grow up in it. I mean, I can't say that I've always been into cars, but my dad's had Chevelles. My dad's had pretty fast Chevelles, SS 396s. And then so I mean, I grew up around cars. When I was younger, I really didn't care too much. But once I started driving, and it was like, hey, I can modify these things. That's kind of when it took over. So I mean, it's not something that you're always from a young age like, hey, I want to build a car, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I mean, yeah, once kids start driving, then it might take that to kind of say, hey, I want this to be my own. I don't want this car to look like it rolled off the showroom floor or some lot, you know. I don't want my car looking like my neighbor's car.
And I think what you guys do is you hold a lot of hands to people to help them kind of grow.
Well, right. Right. I mean, that was the one thing. I mean, I was in the mini truck scene for a while, and you go to some of those shows, and they sit behind their cars or they sit under their tents all together. A little intimidating to walk up to, but I noticed with the hot rod shows, yes, it's a lot of it is a kind of an older crowd, but everybody wants to talk to everybody. So. No, it's pretty cool. I mean, our club, the Creeps, some people might not want to come up to a guy wearing a shirt that says Creep on the back, but I mean, we're always ready to talk to people, you know.
It's the thing is it's a very friendly team, and that's the thing is I've seen a lot of these teams that are very friendly, and really that's especially with somebody that's genuine. And if you're going up to rattle somebody's cage, yeah, you're not going to get some heat back at you. But if you're going up to be friendly and you're really genuinely interested or complimenting a car and want to know something about it, I've never had anybody that looks over and goes, I don't want to talk about my car. Like, come on.
Right.
So, but it's very friendly. So I want to, we're over time a little bit today. So I'm going to jump in. Joel, you're going to give me some input, and then Danny, who came in very late today, I want to get you, and then we're going to be closing it out for night. So hit us up with a close one, Joel.
So yeah, I've got to wrap 40 minutes of material into a minute
2 seconds. And a half. Yeah, there you go.
So
ready? Okay, you're done. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Realistically, I think I think what a lot of folks have already said is that we really have to focus on the engagement factor. I don't think you can stress that enough. I'm a very firm proponent of when I'm at a show and I have a C4 Corvette that has flip up lights, and when a kid walks up to it, and if you even just demonstrate those lights sometimes, and especially when the hood is up so they can see the backside of it, kind of thing, engage the kids, and when that kid walks up and says, oh, I think this is a Chevy, what do you like about Chevys? Ask them questions. We need to do that engagement and actually make them feel like they're part of that community while they're growing up.
Right. Perfect, man. That was it. Danny, you're the last one on the list, buddy. Tell us exactly what you wanted to see to pull in the future.
Well, what I plan on doing with New England Innovation, we're going to be hosting like events at the shop. We've all talked about it, making little tracks in the back. Turning around, we're setting up a dyno, and we're gonna like have like kids come here where like parents have really good cars, and where they can see get hands on if they want with cars, kind of like taking tires off with the helps with the parents and stuff like that. They get to see dyno poles, see how that all works, kind of get them into it to show them no matter what car you would like, you know, here's the opportunities set for you. So, that's what we're trying to do. Like, even with my car, like my daughter loves my RX-7. Even after I put my new hood on it, like she's all about it. She wants me to show all her friends. I'm all down for it. But I feel we could go to car shows, stuff like that. Trophies will get kids into it. But I also wanted to do the other aspect of having them actually like come to the shop and say see how to work a lift and you know get underneath the car, see like the inside of it, and learn like different aspects of the car itself. To try to tickle their fancies and get them more into it.
Mm-hmm. My thing that I've been saying to a lot of people, and I don't think that anybody knows about some of the stuff that's going on, the outreach to these tech schools that allow for, training and turning wrenches and doing a lot of the stuff. The reason that a lot of the kids that come out of these programs and go the way they go is because certain brands and manufacturers have already reached in and said, we're going to mold the future, and they're going to direct these people where they want them to go. I think in the same respect that we that have done what we've done should also reach out to these tech schools and say, you know what, you guys are the future that love turning wrenches. Usually if they're turning wrenches, they're usually, they already are into cars and love them enough to continue to do it. So what the thing is I think that we should reach out to those and say, come out to the car shows, see the Joker Mobile, see the hot rod, see the, the Corvette. Hey, you know what? We do stuff at racetracks too. The future of being able to, so few good dyno tuners that people don't realize that the high end guys make a ton of money because there's so few that know how to do it really well. And that's something that's going to be in the future. It's going to be something huge. It's never going to end. And it's not something that's, the history of the U.S. and everywhere around the world has to do something with this future of learning and knowing that cars and transportation is the way they are. So, okay, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We got a big list here. Rich Placia at Eaton Motorsports, Mark Evans at 757 Auto Events, David Morgan at Nexus. Yeah, I got it right, Dave. Mark at Next Gen, Dina from ECS Magazine, Vinny from the Creeps, Joel Chappell from NewEnglandAutoShows.com, and Danny from New England Innovations. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Don't forget, every Saturday.
You forgot Reggie.
ECS Magazine.
Because he never says anything.
Reggie, would you like to take us out, buddy? You got to unmute yourself so you can take us out.
And he's still on mute.
You're still muted.
That's all right. It's not a bad thing.
Reggie, you're still muted. You're muted. Yeah, you still can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh my gosh.
Donut.
Okay,
Now
there
he
you
is.
go.
There you go.
All right, look, guys. Once again, I know Primo was trying to steal the show away from me a little bit. I got to at least get 1 or 2 seconds at the end. But I want to thank everybody for coming out to East Coast Styles Magazine Hangout, like he said. Also, want to let everybody know, not only did we just recently drop the March print of ECS Magazine, we also just released the very first premiere issue of Drop Draw Custom Vans Magazine. So if you're into the custom vans or the ratty vans or anything custom van related, there's a Drop Draw Vans Magazine. You can go to ecsmagazine.com. You can see some posts on that, and you can check out the link and check it out if you want. Hopefully next week, there's a lot of people who was trying to get in here, and I had to keep stopping y'all because we're getting ready to end this live. But there's some other people that hopefully we can get them to come back next Saturday. We want to invite all types of cars, anybody, like Primo says, anybody that's into anything like rat rods, muscle cars, lowriders, mini trucks, 4-wheel drives, anything, come check us out next Saturday night at 8:00. Try to get you in so we can talk to you, or Primo can, and everybody just mute my ass so that way I can't say nothing.
You muted yourself. Stop it.
Correct.
Oh, it's so bad. This is what I have to deal with, guys. I'm.
Shut the camera off too, so I don't even have to look at him.
And by the way, Vin, I love Creep.
See, he wants a membership. He needs at least a supporter shirt. Okay, Vinny?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're $20.
There you go. There you go. Right in.
Hold up. That costs more than my magazine shirts do.
Hey,
Anyway,
you know.
We'll work on a trade. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
I'll arbitrate.
I traded a East Coast 1000 magazine shirt for a Creep shirt. Fair deal.
All right. Thanks for everybody for coming out. This has been ECS Hangout for tonight. Again, thank everybody for coming out. We'll see you next Saturday at 8 p.m. Don't miss it.
Thanks, guys.
Later.